Good morning and happy Eid. Welcome to ATN Blowout. Blowout is a syndicated live program of the network featuring chit-chatting and conversation on special interest topics, news, events, and stories through correspondence reports, experts' opinion, and stakeholders' analysis. Today we'll be looking at these stories. Taraba State. Suspected militia kill 3 police officers and 5 civilians. Maiduguri bombings. Sultan urges military to take more proactive measures. Bilateral relations. Nigeria-UK sign deportation deal. And then Salah celebration. Leaders charge citizens on unity and discipline. On matters of insecurity, Nigeria ranks 4th globally, Tinubu a failure. This is coming from the ADC. Alleged corruption, no regrets over my actions, and this is coming from Malami. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube. Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on X, Atlantic TV Net. Also watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. We're going for a short commercial break. When I return, I will introduce my guest for today. Welcome back. Still on ATN Blowout. Having in my studio today is none other than Mr. Mufasa, the king of the jungle. Good morning, Mufasa.
Good morning.
Why are you laughing? Whenever I call you king of the jungle, you start laughing.
It depends on the jungle you are referring to.
So, where is your kingship? Which jungle is your kingship?
I'm not the king of any jungle. I'm the king of my kingdom.
Of your kingdom?
Our kingdom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our kingdom.
Yeah.
And on my left, I have none other than Jaja Hartley. Good morning, Jaja.
Good morning. I heard king of our kingdom. I don't know if later on Mr. Mufasa can expatiate because the hour looks like, well, I'm not going to that. Thank you very much.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Well, no problem. Let's get into today's stories. Suspected militia have killed 3 police officers and 5 civilians in Damisa community, Donga local government area of Taraba State. Residents said the attackers, armed with sophisticated weapons, stormed the community at about 1 p.m. on Wednesday and began shooting indiscriminately. It was gathered that panic gripped the area as residents, including children and women, fled their homes into nearby bushes to avoid the violence. Sources said 8 persons, including 3 police officers, were killed in the attack, while several others sustained gunshot wounds. Mufasa, I want to start with you. Would you say this update is quite, I mean, it's a sad story, but looking at our security situation in past events, usually these attacks will happen before the police officers will get there. But unfortunately or fortunately, the police officers and then militia got there while this was happening and were able to at least salvage and then save some people, although unfortunately, some of the officers lost their lives. Would you say this is an improvement in our security architecture in Taraba State?
Well, my heart goes to those who have lost their lives, I mean their families and the government and people of Taraba State. It's a sad one. I did not hear of any of the militias killed or apprehended, so I do not think it's a case of an exchange of gunfire. Perhaps it could be the case of they took the police officers by surprise, and fortunately, 3 of
did you say fortunately?
Unfortunately.
Okay.
There's nothing fortunate about people being killed by undesirable elements. Unfortunately, 3 of our police officers, lost their lives, and it's more or less a recurring decimal. Okay. Ordinarily, we would have expected a situation where some of these killings would have been reduced, especially considering the fact that it's happening every now and then. Okay. Security architecture needs to be beefed up. These people came in the afternoon, 1 p.m. in the afternoon. That goes to show the level of audacity, and boldness that, they've come to muster over the years. The more we complain, the more we hear of more killings. And we have presidents, we have governors, and local government chairmen. Above all, the president, who is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, who has a responsibility to protect lives and property, and obviously is failing in that regard. So for me, we have a lot in our hands, to salvage. Presidents need to be alive to his responsibility. If there is anything that is not doing properly to ensure that people are adequately and sufficiently protected, I think you should start thinking outside the box, because no single individual deserves to die in such a senseless manner. I see no offense committed by these innocent Nigerians other than living in their own community, and non-state actors will just come brazenly and begin to kill and maim, and at times, in fact most times, they go along with hostages, so it's a sad one, really. It's a sad one. We cannot be talking about killings and killings and killings every day, and then it's almost coming like the new trend, So it's not a good one. I'm just sad. It saddens me that there's no day that people don't get killed and adopted, and so I don't know what our government is doing. For me, they should sit up. They should sit up. That is even if they are responsive and responsible enough to understand the enormity of of this kind of events. Very unfortunate. That's my position.
Okay. Thank you for that. Jaja, you as well. I wanted to think that during the attack, our security forces were able to intercept, what was happening then before it got out of hand. But like Mufasa pointed out, first of all, we didn't hear any story which said or which described any of the militiamen being arrested or being killed. Unfortunately, what we heard were the deaths of 3 officers, police officers. What do you have to say about that concerning our security architecture?
Well, firstly, before I dive into this matter, I'd like to my sincerest apologies. My heart goes out to to those people who lost their lives. It's a very sad one that the issue of security challenge in our local terrains are starting to become a recurring decimal. Security challenges in Nigeria it's now becoming more dynamic and more complex than what the eyes can see, and I feel at this point the government needs to do more. People cannot just come up. I mean, who does that at daytime, 1 p.m.? Reporting. I don't know who reported that time, but it's very important that timing was reported, because it gives us a clear idea how these people think. Is it that it's now a free zone for these people to come out and attack at any time? It's a very sad one, and I can just imagine the fear, the tremble that will be going on in that particular terrain, that particular local government. I can also imagine the pains, the family of those the security officers, as much as they lay out their lives to serve this country, they also have families. Knowing that your father, your uncle, your brother died in such unusual terms is very disheartening, and it's something that would leave a very bad scar in the minds of their family. I would like to implore the government to look into community policing. I've always held my ground on that. Local vigilantes and community policing should be explored. We are not exploring it enough in this country. Look at the Civilian Joint Task Force, I think the CJTF in Northeast. Look at how far they've come. Look at the Amotekun in the Southeast. I mean, those people literally work 24 hours, and they have, while security challenges still exist, they have been able to combat, security in that local terrain to a large extent. I mean, we should not just leave, the whole security thing to just the army or police per se, because it's clearly showing that we're lacking behind in some security interventions, and we should not come out and lie to ourselves. Yes, while these unscrupulous elements are maybe in their small numbers, it's showing that Nigeria's security frame is getting weak. Yes, this current administration inherited a lot of security challenges, Yet they inherited some baggages from the past, and our security challenge has been spanned over a decade now. And as much as the current administration is putting in so much on security reforms, there's more that needs to be done. They should not leave these things to the hands of the police or the army. They should implore the use of local securities, vigilantes. Look at, I talked about the Northeast, I talked about the Southwest. Okay, look at here, the South-South. In River State, for example, the security, OSPAC, whether you like it or not, the infiltration of OSPAC in our local communities has helped a lot. Look at Iwofe, look at Alo, look at Obaibima. Look, I mean, I can mention on and on about how this local security outfit has been able to work hand in hand with our other security outfits to be able to clamp down on crimes in our society, especially those local terrains. We should understand that, the Nigeria society we live in, the people, especially locals, some way has given up on security. And that is why these people can come in at any time. And before you know it, it is hard for them to communicate with the police or the army. Because for some reason, because of past, antecedents of, maybe other administrations and all, the trust has been cut. So for the people to, if you ask people, why don't they call the police? Why don't they give police necessary information? They'll be like, if they call police, what police go do? If they call army, before army go respond. I mean, they have lost trust, which is very bad. The police, the army, in fact, all security agencies should be able to come closer to the people. Hold rallies, do security talks with communities. Make these people feel that they can trust you. But before that, invest in these local securities because they know the terrain more than even, the army or the police. While the army and the police, the Air Force, other security agencies can, act more on security intelligence, I feel bringing the locals closer would help to clamp down on these everyday killings. And if you watch well, they're always doing it in those local areas because that is where they know they can move freely. And before the police or the army would start attending to maybe after the whole incident has happened. So please, I would like to implore our security agencies, I would like to implore the government, this administration needs to look more on security, community policing and vigilantes, so that this matter can at least be put to an end. Yes, we cannot totally end the security challenge in Nigeria or anywhere, but we can reduce this to the barest minimum. These people should not be allowed to operate freely. And I don't know how true it is that nobody was clamped down on, but I just don't want to believe that these people just came and killed security personnel and went free. But that should be looked into.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you as well. Mufasa, quickly, would you agree with Jaja in his statements that we need more communal policing? I can understand in states like River States, other states, that have maybe criminal elements, but in a obviously war-torn areas like the northern parts, will communal policing actually help? Or would it also be another menace in that part of the country?
Well, I think community policing is a fantastic approach. Okay, and like they say, security is everybody's business, but the buck stops on the table of the government. I also understand that with the emergence of Amotekun in the southwest, we have civilian JTF in the north, and some other, disjointed, uncoordinated system in River State, because I don't believe that the OSPAC system has been properly handled, and all of that. For me, let us have a comprehensive, well-documented, well-coordinated kind of community policing so that the locals can provide intelligence, intel, information to the conventional security apparatus like the police, the military, and all of that. And they should also be given proper training and all that they need to function effectively. Like the saying goes that potentials without the essentials is inconsequential. As much as you want the locals, the community to be part of, the security, activities of this society, I'm sure you also understand that if they don't get the proper training and information to carry out whatever they do effectively, it will amount to an effort in futility. And mind you, when these people, when they come with the kind of war machines that they come with. I'm sure even a regular police cannot withstand or repel them. So these are some of the things we should also consider.
All right.
Nobody want to put the lives of the regular community security system in harm's way. So the government, I still keep calling on the government, because they say when a fish wants to rot in, it starts from the top. If you are mandating the community to be part of the system, which is still not out of place, the government should also provide all that is required, all that is necessary, so that these people don't, get killed senselessly by these people. That's my position.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Moving on. Sultan of Sokoto, Mohammedu Saad Abubakar, has called on the Nigerian military to adopt a more proactive strategy against terrorist groups in the wake of a deadly bombing in Maiduguri, Borno State. Abubakar made the appeal on Wednesday evening while declaring Friday as Eid al-Fitr, marking the end of the Islamic holiday of Ramadan. The Sultan's remarks follow Monday's twin bomb attacks in Maiduguri, where 23 people were killed and more than 100 others injured. Explosions were reported at a local market, the gates of the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital, and the post office flyover in the Borno State capital. Condemning the attacks, the Sultan urged security forces to take the fight directly to terrorist strongholds rather than waiting for attacks to occur. Georgia, let me start with you on this one. Would you agree with the Sultan of Sokoto saying that instead of our military to be reactive, they need a more proactive, approach? They should do the needful, gather the intelligence needed, and then go into the stronghold of these terrorist groups and take the fight to them, instead of waiting until these people emerge from their hideouts and then wreak havoc on, the states.
Well, incidents like this are very sad, and in a very holy period like this for the Muslims, and these elements come out to, perpetrate acts like this. It clearly shows how far these people can go to, to behave or to act in such. And so, who does this in a time like this? And the Sultan calling on the, in fact, I saw the videos online and I was terrified. People going on about their daily activities, not just Muslims. Some people, shop owners. There was one I saw where a shop owner was just locked in a shop, and he's in the hospital. And I saw little children. Oh my God, the security challenge needs urgent intervention. I must say. While the administration is doing its best, the administration needs to do more. Our army, the police, whatever it is, they need. I don't know if I don't know how they are going about it, but these people cannot keep doing this thing. It shows it doesn't tell well for our security in Nigeria, and it also shows that. The security problem is not against, as widely believed that the Northerners, the Muslims are the ones perpetrating this act. You know, this is a clear demonstration. This clearly shows that it's not just about Muslims attacking the Christians. It's a general problem. You know, if this was happening in a Christian state, it will be widely believed, or it will interest people, and it will be easier to point fingers at, oh, the Muslims are the ones doing this thing. But this is clearly happening in a Muslim state, perpetrated by so-called same people. That's to show that it's not the fights we're seeing in Nigeria. It's not about a Muslim, Christian, something. It's not about, because this clearly shows that these people have no regard, have no respect. In fact, I don't think they even have any religion. And at this point, we should remove the whole racism out of it. It's no longer, the security challenge has gone beyond a Muslim, Christian something. It is something that needs to be addressed, not just addressed adequately. And the army, the DSS, the police should do more on gathering, you know, intelligence. This further goes back to, you know, why I'm, you know, clamoring on community policing, why I'm clamoring on, you know, developing security outfits, local outfits, because these people need to be in place. While the army and the police might be, you know, occupied with a lot of other things, you know, these people should help them, so that intelligence, you know, can at least circulate, and we should reduce. Come on, every day bombing here, killing here. A lot of persons are giving up on our security status in Nigeria, and the government needs to act upon it before the common man, you know, totally, you know, gives up. I mean, in this 21st century, we don't even have a direct call line, just like the first world countries have.
Okay.
At least we should be able to develop that. We should not just hear after the bombing, army people came in, police people came in. We should be able to develop a proper call line. You know, I haven't seen that function. I don't know if it's in place, but I haven't really seen it function. There should be a line. The first world countries call on 911. What can our Nigerians call on? These are things that should be developed. And if this is an idea I'm pushing out to the security outfits, I don't know if they're working on it. I don't know if they're doing something about it. I don't know if something like this have been in existence. But you should allow the people to be closer to you. A lot of suspicious movements go out, but because the average Nigerian do not know who to contact, and not everybody would want to, you know, see something and just go to the police station because of the fear or the idea that the police has given, you know, prior before now. It looks like once you go to the, you know, there's always a fear to enter the police, which is not supposed to be. You know, it hinders communication. It hinders, you know, intelligence, you know, being passed from the people to our security agencies. So therefore, to tackle that particular thing, I feel the best thing our security outfits or the government needs to do is to work on developing a direct call line. You know, it should be a national emergency call line where people can, you know, where if people notice any, you know, anyhow movement or some behavioral patterns or some things, whether 1 a.m., whether 2 a.m., whether afternoon, whether morning, whether evening, those lines should be reachable, and people behind those lines should be held accountable for anything. So these are the steps in the right direction that our security agencies and government need to, you know, look up to. The people should be able to, you know, trust the process. My heart goes out to those who are in the hospital. I pray the government intervenes, and I pray that the government looks into all these things so that it should not be a recurring problem. Thank you.
Mufasa, it's quite unfortunate that during a period of festivities for the Islamic religion, these unfortunate incidents are occurring. We have already been tagged as a country of particular concern, and then known to be discriminating in killings, Christian killings and what's not. It seems these elements have, you know, moved away from targeting Christians to actually targeting themselves, because Suicide bombers are usually known or attributed to the Islamic religion. Unfortunately, I do not want to be one of those people that have like that way of thinking, but unfortunately that's the notion of the rest of the world. Now, if we are being tagged as a country of particular concern due to Christian killings, why would these individuals want to perpetrate such criminal acts or actions during a holy period as Ramadan, and also just a few days to the Eid celebration? Now the people have been thrown into mourning. How is that going to affect the festivities, and what does that look like to, you know, the tag we have here, or in the northern parts that we have Christian killings?
I think that particular stereotype is something that has further, you know, deepened the division that we have across religious lines. Okay, I call it a stereotype because it's not a statement of facts that Muslims are killing Christians, like what my friend rightly said. These are godless people, you know. They are terrorists. They are not. They don't have the fear of God in them. I mean, to the best of my knowledge, Islam is a religion of peace. So anybody that strap a bomb or explosive around his body and begin to bomb his fellow human beings because of his personal, you know, and selfish aggrandizement, you know, that person cannot be said to represent what, you know, Islam teaches. You know, I'm sure you agree with me that we have extreme fanatics in all the religion. You know, I don't want to go in too deep on that. But going forward, let me just also say that we have an emergency call line. You know, we have several of them, but I think the level of response to calls, that is where the issue lies. You know, they display several numbers, and even as much as we've not been able to get a unified short code, you know, in the West, Europe, and they have that's 911.
Yes, 911
is a short code. But over here, you have a full stretch of 11 digits, and it becomes difficult to even memorize what the numbers are. But we have emergency call numbers for the police, for the military, and all of that. And that is not even the issue. These, you know, terrorist groups, they notify the communities that they are coming. So that is enough, you know, call to response. You know, that is if we truly want to repel these people. These people, most of the times, before they come to attack, they send letters, you know, so you don't even need to stress yourself to begin to call. You know, one would have expected, you know, security architecture to be prepared, you know, but these people, they throw the challenge at us, and, you know, they make do their threats. And going to what the Sultan said, I am of that opinion that we shouldn't wait until they come to attack, okay? We can take the fight to them. That is being proactive. These people, it's not as if they are hibernating somewhere in Lake Chad or in Niger. You know, they are within our territories. Sambisa Forest is in Nigeria, even though we know there are some part of it that, you know, stretches down to the Nigerian borders and the Chadian region. But these people, they mainly operate from within our territories. So what now stops the Nigerian military, the Air Force, you know, what stops them from taking the fight to the camp of these people? When you take the fight to them, you dismantle their arrangements. Like the saying goes that attack is the best form of defense. But when you wait all the time for them to come, you know, perpetrate all manner of terror, you know, kill, maimed, burn, and even carry people along with them into the bushes, it leaves so much to be desired. And after they must have carried out their terror attack and they've gone back to their hiding places, you now see our own people come out and begin to condemn. So let us move away from that rhetoric. That is the point where I quite agree with the Sultan. We shouldn't wait until they come. When they come, they leave sorrow, tears, and blood in their wake, and you know, we are tired of that. Let us develop a more proactive approach. You know, we have more than what it takes to go after these people, but we've not been able to muster that will. That's a lot of people who, you know, there is this belief that even the government is complacent in all of these things, because what manner of, you know, gadgets, what manner of weapons, what manner of arms and ammunition that these people have that we as a country cannot procure superior powers, superior fire powers, and go after these people. So what this man has said, the respected monarch, the Sultan, has said, is very, very instructive. We shouldn't wait until they come to bomb us and kill us. Let us also go to their own comfort zone and bomb and kill them too, and scatter them. Let them be the ones that will be running. Then, you know, I'm sure when we are able to come up with that kind of approach with the will and all of that, I can tell you for free that most of these senseless killings that you see happening all the time will be largely reduced. But when we allow them to relax and plan and write us letters, type messages, begin to do TikTok videos, begin to record themselves displaying words of monies and all of that, that goes to show that the country is handicapped, and that's not the kind of picture that we want to paint or show to the rest of the world. We continue to be referred to as a disgraced nation or a country of particular concern. That's not my word, you know. That's the word of the President of the United States of America.
All right. Thank you, Mufasa. Nigeria has signed a new agreement with the United Kingdom to facilitate the return of failed asylum seekers, visa overstayers, and convicted offenders in a move aimed at strengthening migration control and bilateral cooperation. The deal was signed by Nigeria's Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji Ojo, and the UK Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, during the state visit of President Bola Tinubu to the UK, according to the UK Home Office on Thursday. Under the agreement, the UK will be able to return thousands of individuals with no legal right to remain in the country, including failed asylum seekers and foreign national offenders. The arrangement also covers visa overstayers and introduces new administrative measures to ease the deportation process. A key provision allows Nigeria for the first time to accept UK letters, alternative identification documents issued to individuals without valid passports in place of standard travel documents. The Home Office said this removes a major bureaucratic obstacle that previously delayed returns. While the start date, duration, and financial terms of the deal were not disclosed, questions remain over whether the arrangement will apply strictly to Nigerian nationals or include other nationalities. Okay, Judge, I think I want to start with you on this particular one. At a time when countries are tightening their borders and then security protocol, we've seen how countries are also tightening their immigration rules and policies. Every country is looking out for itself. You know, the world right now is in turmoil. We're seeing wars breaking out. We're seeing crimes here and there. Our president's visit to the UK was seen as a tremendous happening. something that is supposed to strengthen our relations with the UK. This deal, especially the one where special documents will be issued to people that can't be properly identified in time of deportation. Do you see this as beneficial to Nigeria? And where do we stand, or what do we stand to gain with this deal?
Well, it's a welcome development that Nigeria is steadily engaging, with international countries on migration, on security, and bilateral cooperation. Where the problem should be is how these persons that are being deported will be reintegrated back into the society. The issue of illegal migration is not peculiar to us as a nation. It's something that it's everywhere. You cannot claim you're going out of a country and do not use the right process. I don't know why our people, tend to risk their life every day. We see issues of, young people, going through a lot of hideous processes just to japa. What do you really expect? You cannot go into a country without your legal documents. You cannot go into a country without the due process, the right way to enter the country and expect a different result. We should not always, be quick to judging or be quick to pointing fingers on the administration or if it is right or wrong. I mean, it is totally right. Nobody is saying don't go to the UK. The UK is not saying Nigerians should not come. What they are beckoning on is those people who do not have proper documents, those people who came in through illegal, borders, those people who came in, not through the good processes. So at the end of the day, it shows that I don't know how the country is going on about it. I don't know how the government is going on about it. But the government should make the people believe more in Nigeria. The rate of people who wants to run is quite on the high side. I don't really blame them anyways. But I think it's high time Nigerians start investing and start believing in Nigeria. Okay. We have a lot of things to do. We should work with the government. The government is working on so many reforms, agricultural reforms, security reforms, educational. There are a lot of businesses, there are a lot of things that have yet been untapped. And I feel that it is time for people to start believing in Nigeria. The visits of Tinubu to the UK and the whole signing with the migration agencies and all of that, it's not a bad news. It is common practice all over the world. You understand? So I don't think there's something wrong with that. It shows that at least the government is working hand in hand with security agencies. I mean, if for a fact it is good that our government is fully involved, it will be easier to, for these persons who are deported, to migrate, to be able to, migrate properly, integrated properly into the society. And I want to urge the government that if these persons that are deported come in, they should not just be thrown back to the streets. They should be given opportunities to serve one way or the other. We cannot keep receiving thousands of people from different places. Most of them, were displaced here. That's why they did everything possible to go search for greener pastures. So them coming back should not be a death sentence. The government should be able to, work hand in hand with agencies involved in things like this to be able to reintegrate these persons into the society. Okay. I mean, it is better they are here than being in another country, being arrested, being put to shame and all of that. So when they come back, government should give them a helping hand. Hear what their cry is. Give open ears to them. The government should not be far from the people. That is the situation. That is why we have increased, number of persons who want to run away, because they do not see the government as a government that is actually doing everything possible for youth development and all of that. So the government should find a way, communicate better with the people, bring up schemes and all of that, so at least the people can believe in this country again. So I think that's all I have to say about this whole issue.
Okay. Mufasa, I'm particularly interested in the UK letters. The UK letter is supposed to stand in place of the individuals who do not have proper identification. Now, in a scenario where we have, like they mentioned, visa overstayers, failed asylum seekers, and criminals. Now, every country right now is strengthening their borders, right, and then also trying to strengthen their immigration policies. In this instance, where Nigeria has agreed to accept UK letters of identification for individuals without proper identification, how can we tell if these people are actually Nigerians? We've seen situations whereby, using the US as an example, would want to bring deportees that are being rejected from other countries, want to send them to other countries, trying to force them upon other countries. Do you not see such situation being played, but in a more diplomatic manner? If this person has no mode of identification as a Nigerian, and then the UK issues them a letter stating he is a Nigerian and a criminal, but not really a Nigerian, and we've accepted that as long as they have a UK letter that states they are Nigerians, we should accept them. What is that saying to us? How does that leave us? Won't that also leave us vulnerable to some of these criminal elements that are meant to be deported into the country?
He was vulnerable for what? They say he who is down needs fear no fall.
He who is what?
He who is down needs fear no fall. Already we are vulnerable in this country. If you want to call that as one of the achievements of the travel of Mr. President, it's quite a shame, that we went to the United Kingdom to accept the fact that we have lots of illegal Nigerians living in the UK. Why would anybody want to run away from this country? It's not because the country is not conducive for him to live. We have Nigerians living in IDP camps in their country. Thousands of Nigerians living in IDP camps. As if we're at war. So, I mean, there are people who prefer being in the prison in America and UK than to come and begin to live as a free man in this country. Yeah. There are people who prefer to stay in the American prison because the person is sure of 3 square meals, sure of even a more better conducive environment inside the prison. The only thing you don't have is your freedom. So it's a pathetic situation. So when the UK government is giving you a document, and that document is a temporary something, that is just to identify you as a candidate for repatriation. That document is not as if they give you citizenship, it's just an identity. And this person is so and so and is penciled down for repatriation. And you see our Minister of Interior smiling and opening his teeth before the camera because he feels that he has gone to the United Kingdom to sign document with a white man. I'm really ashamed. I think we are busy chasing shadows. The critical questions that we need to ask ourselves: why are people running away? Doctors are running, nurses are running, even people who have retired as top security operatives run over to the UK to become a security guard in Walmart and grocery stores. Everybody wants to leave. Even the president cannot even stay in this country for a complete period of 1 month. Our president cannot sit in this country for 1 month and get comfortable. So for me, it's I'm sure a lot of Nigerians will not be happy with that kind of agreement, because somebody who perhaps sold his father's compound, sold all his property, just for him to go in search of greener pastures outside the country, trying to find his feet, and your government comes to that country and begin to sign an agreement that they should look for you and deport you back to this country so that you come and be living in IDP camps. I have a story of somebody that traveled to the United States. He was intercepted at the airport, and somewhere along the line they were able to identify him as an illegal immigrant. So the process of trying to get him back or put him somewhere so they can bring him back to Nigeria. He struggled and he beat the ear of one of the security guards over there. Beat the ear so hard that even blood started gushing out. So that extent, it became a crime, So he was arrested. He wasn't deported because then he has committed a crime. He was taken to the prison yard, and when they have call time now, so when there was time for him to call his people that he has arrived in America, he called the mama. Say, how are you? Say, I say, I'm fine. Say, where are you? Say, I'm in America. Say, what's where are you? Say, I'm in the prison. Say, I'm happy here. Say, there's food here. There is, say, I'm here, and they were all happy, He was happy that he's in the prison, that he's in American prison. So, it's that bad. It's only in this country that you get, opportunity to travel out. You go to the church and begin to do Thanksgiving, and it's like an achievement. That even if you went through the desert or you went through the Pacific Ocean and all of that, people don't care. They say, well, you have nothing to live for. You are willing to die for anything. So the best thing our government should do is to try to make this country a conducive environment for people to live. Provide security for your people. Provide job for your people. Provide power light. These are some of the things that they go there, they see, and they come back to this country and, they don't replicate it. And that it's deliberate, it's intentional, so that people will keep, nursing the ambition to travel out. So that, for me, going to sign one agreement that people don't need, I'm not sure it will be a welcome development to a lot of Nigerians living over there. I don't support crime. Of course, there are people who go there to commit crime, but when you commit crime, you should know that you do the time. They have prisons there, that will keep you, so that after you must have spent a couple of your years, in incarceration, you begin to learn some things. Above all, our leaders should ensure that Nigeria is conducive enough for our citizens to stay. We don't start thinking of how to japa and go and start doing menial, dehumanizing job just to survive and be sending money back to sustain your family back here in Nigeria. So that's my position on the matter.
Okay. Jaja, do you want to add anything before we move on to the next story?
Well, time is far-fetched, so let's move on to the next story.
All right. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Vice President Kashim Shettima, Senate President Godswill Akpabio, Deputy Senate President Barrow Jibrin, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Chajuddin Abbas, and state governors have called on citizens to embrace unity, compassion, and self-discipline as the nation navigates its challenges. In their goodwill messages to the Muslims in Nigeria and across the globe on the occasion of Eid al-Fitr, which marked the end of this year's Ramadan, they noted that the values of Ramadan provide a moral compass for building a society founded on justice, peace, and mutual respect. They urge Muslims to uphold the virtues of discipline, empathy, self-control, and generosity which were cultivated during the month-long fast. They emphasized that the lessons of Ramadan should not end with the crescent moon, but should guide daily conduct and strengthen communal harmony. The leaders further stressed the importance of obedience to Allah's injunctions and adherence to the teachings of Prophet Muhammad. They prayed for continued peace, prosperity, and divine blessings upon Nigeria, urging Muslims to celebrate Eid with gratitude and renewed commitment to the service of humanity. Jaja, what do you have to say to this goodwill message from our leaders to the people?
Well, in contribution to what our leaders have said, this is a very special, holy period for our Muslim brothers and sisters. It's a beautiful one, seeing that a lot of our Muslim brothers have embraced peace, has embraced, unity, has embraced love. I want to urge them that all this should not end, in this Ramadan season. It should be a continuous thing. And our Christian brothers, I also want to urge brothers and sisters, I want to urge them to, to be united I believe the security situation we face in Nigeria is not a Muslim thing. It's not also a Christian thing. It's a common problem that affects both we, the Muslims, the Christians, traditional worshippers, and everybody. But I don't want to go into that. I want to join in the celebration. And I don't know if Mufasa has anywhere to go today. I'm sure he has some Muslim friends and people. Please, I would like you to invite me, because our Muslim people are always accommodating. During this period, they kill rams, goats, and so have we. So Mufasa, my friend, please
Mufasa?
invite me to any occasion that you've been invited, because I'm very sure you're very close to the northern people.
Mufasa, the ball is in your court. What do you have to say to the goodwill message?
Okay, and my friend Atlee, I've had your supplications and requests. I will gloss over it and think about it. Of course, I have some very fantastic Muslim friends who have invited me to come and eat ram today.
Oh, okay.
But having said that, I think leaders should understand that they should lead by example. You understand what I'm saying? Whatever, all these things they've said, fantastic, words, fantastic message. But the question is, are they doing the talk? You know what I'm saying? You should lead by example. You don't just begin to make statements for the sake of, mesmerizing, manipulating, and, cajoling the people. I'm sure you still remember statements like steal it, grab it, and run with it. That kind of statement does not reflect some of these things that you just read. Our politicians, they know how to have their way with words, okay? It will be more appreciated if they show example. They talk about unity, they talk about love, they talk about compassion, they talk about all these beautiful virtues that the season of Ramadan brings, but unfortunately, their lifestyle is a complete far cry. They don't show people some of these things that they talk about all the time. So that's my own angle I'm looking at these things from. They buy guns, allegedly. They buy guns and give to people to go and commit all manner of atrocities, all in the name of trying to secure political power and all of that. So if they can, purge themselves of all of these things, I'm sure some of the vices that we see in the society today will be reduced. I'm aware of a certain governor that threatened a Nigerian not to come to his state, that he would not guarantee his security and all of that. And you saw what followed such threats. And these are the same people that will still come out and tell you that, accommodate this, accommodate that. But they are not accommodating. They are not tolerant, okay? If we can have all of these things they just said play out, by they themselves showing the example, the people following them will understand that this thing they are saying comes from deep inside or within them. You know what I'm saying? They will understand there is a sincerity of purpose and intention in what they are. But you cannot be saying one thing today and be doing another thing tomorrow. Okay. You provide security for their people. This is Ramadan. People are meant to come out without fear and celebrate. But as you are moving on the street, you are watching your back because you don't know where the next suicide bomber will come out from. So our leaders should move away from talk. We talk too much, We talk too much. Let us remove our heads from the cloud and stamp our feet on the ground and be realistic. We need to be realistic, Above all, personally, I want to congratulate our Muslim brothers. They should understand that we are together in the struggle. Insecurity, poverty, starvation does not identify you by your religion or by your political party. You know, these are some of the things that we need to understand. By so doing, that's when we know that we are united in struggle. And the only way that can take us out from this doldrum of poverty, insecurity, is for us to continue to call our leaders to account and call them to sit up, because the reason why they are there is for them to serve us and not the other way around.
Okay.
So that's my position.
Thank you for that. The African Democratic Congress has responded to the latest Global Terrorism Index 2026 report, stating that Nigeria's ranking as the fourth most terrorism-affected country in the world is clear evidence of the failure of the Bola Tinubu-led government to secure the nation. In a statement signed by its National Publicity Secretary, Malam Bolaji Abdullahi, the party cited data from the report, including a 43% rise in attacks and increase in civilian deaths, and said the findings point to a breakdown in governance, not just a security lapse. To address the crisis, the ADC outlined a three-part strategy focused on improving intelligence coordination, decentralizing policing to bring security closer to communities, and shifting from reactive responses to preventive intelligence-led security operations. The ADC said a government that is truly focused on protecting its people will demonstrate coordinated and visible leadership during crisis, strengthen local security architecture, and address the economic and social conditions that fuel recruitment into extremist groups. Abdullahi said if the ADC were in charge, it would have taken 3 decisive steps to fix Nigeria's security system and restore safety across the country. Every political party or every politician seems to have a solution to our problems until they come into power. ADC is saying that they have a 3-point strategy to fight our insecurity. Right now, we've been ranked 4th on the global scale in terms of terrorism, which does not look good. You know, that does not look good. Now, ADC is proposing a more a reactive approach to our security issues. Mufasa, what do you have to say towards this? Do you think they actually have the solutions, or are just making promises like every other political party?
I think they're taking advantage of the failure of government, the failure of leadership, that we are moved 4th place in the global terrorism ranking index is an unfortunate situation. I'm not surprised. In all of the stories we just discussed, about a huge chunk of them is about attacks and killings and abduction and all of that. And I could still remember a court in Canada and I think that matter is still there, designated both the APC and the PDP as a terrorist organization. You know, when we have narratives like that, I wonder the kind of perception that we expect, you know, organization, reputable organization, you know, we want to rank Nigeria, where people come out from the bushes, bomb people away, you know, bomb Nigerians into pieces. People come out and be carried as large as 200 people into the bushes, you know, and you start giving them money, they release the ones they will release, to kill the one they will kill and all that. So for me, let it serve as a wake-up call. I don't want to talk about the ADC. I don't know if they have the solutions to Nigerians' problems. That was what the APC told us in 2015, and here we are today. So let's hope that things get better. Thank you.
Jaja, do the ADC have what it takes to move Nigeria away from the 4th position in the global ranking of terrorism?
Well, there's a popular saying that advice they always sweet for person mouth when not there in the situation. It clearly shows that the ADC is strictly looking for everything possible to run down this current administration. Why are they always focused on the negatives? Why are they not looking out or pointing out, the good things this administration is doing? Every time you hear about ADC calling out this administration, it's always for something bad. Now they're coming out. Talk is cheap. Hey, they have all these things in place. The persons that have made up this ADC, look at all of them. Is it Amechi? Is it Matiku? Is it who? They were all once in government. And I'm not talking about local government. I'm not even talking about just, the state level. These people actively played national politics. So the thing that they want to do now, why didn't they do it back then? You see a lot of persons just come out. So that's the problem with Nigerians. Always pointing fingers, always quick to give advice. So they have all this advice in their heads, and when they were in national positions, they could not end insecurity. Look, I don't want to go deep into that. The situation we have in Nigeria is bad. I don't want to mince words. It's bad, especially when it has to do with security. But we should understand that this administration, picked up a lot of garbage from previous administrations. I don't want to keep saying that we picked up garbage. I don't want to keep, pointing out that. But I want the people to understand that the issue of insecurity is very complex. It's something that can be solved in a day. It's not something that we can just, people can just come out and, fix in a day. There are step-by-step processes. There are things that the government is doing. Yes, the government can do more, but we should understand that reforms are going on. There are a lot of changes that has been made. So the ADC should, they like talking, they like granting interviews. They should keep on saying things about the government, while the government should focus on, security reforms. So anybody anybody can come out and say anything. So we're in a democratic society. Freedom of speech is allowed, but they should not distract the government. So I implore the government to do more on security. Security challenge is not peculiar to us as a nation. We have the first world countries. They're also having this security challenge. I don't know where that statistics is being drawn up from. I don't want to deny that we're not facing these challenges, but we should understand that these things are not peculiar to Nigeria alone. The so-called first world countries, we hear every day school shooting. They have gun problems. As much as these people are the ones that we look up to for, a lot of Nigerians look as the well-crafted society, the best society to be in. We wake up on news, we hear where school children carry guns, kill a lot of underage students. It can be in a bar or a public gathering. Bombings are still happening in these places. So we should not make it look like Nigeria is the only place these things are happening. It's bad, but it is not peculiar to us alone. Okay. The government is doing something about it, and we should join the government in this issue of security. Government alone cannot secure the nation. Security is on the onus of both the government, security officials, and we as citizens. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jaja. Thank you very much, Mufasa. All right, this is where we wrap it up on this episode of Blowout. We are open for advert placements, commercials, and bookings. You can connect with us on our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on X, Atlantic TV Net. Also watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Remember, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Open conversation comes up shortly. Please don't go away. Thank you for watching. I am Antonia Arceville.